So United takes on Tottenham as they travel down to their stadium to take not only have a Europa League final rematch, but also to take a stride forward into showing the world that all the noise behind the team with the negativity of Ruben Amorim, of Sesko, of all the other players that they seem to be always finding the simple things or the nitty-gritties to have something to go against the club. Here we have another opportunity not only to beat a so-called top six but big team, to continue the unbeaten run, continue the undefeated run, continue the positivity within the whole space and Carrington and at Old Trafford and just around the team. Because as we've seen over the last week, there's been so many different interviews and videos and different things about United players in a positive light. We also have Ruben Amorim and Brian Mbuemo winning player and manager of the month. So there's a lot of very positive things going on at the club at the moment. And we have waited for a long time to see this happen. You know, we've had moments of Ruben where we all thought he would have left, not even get fired, but you could have seen it on his face to the point where he probably was going to give up. But knowing the kind of guy he is, knowing what Manchester United job means to anyone in the world, not only Ruben Amorim, it could even be Arne Slot, Jurgen Klopp, no matter who it is, taking that job. It's so prestige, it has so much behind it, that no one's just going to give it up. We saw managers like Ole, like Ten Hag, like Van Gaal cry when they lost their job at Manchester United. So there's a lot of managers that would really take this job and really feel the pressure and love to feel this sort of pressure, because when you are the manager of Manchester United, no matter if they're the worst team in the league or the best team in the league, you have hit another level of fame, another level for a platform for people to actually not only criticize who you are as a coach, but also respect who you are as a coach, especially if you can get that team playing not only really good football, but in a way in which they cannot have anything negative to say. Now, negativity around the club may come around, but these Tottenham, especially Ange Postecoglou, probably has always beaten Manchester United. The statistic shows that he has beaten United the most as a manager in such a small period of time. Just like Arteta, who always seems to find a way to beat United or have a good result against United. It's the same thing we can say about Ange Postecoglou. And Ange Postecoglou probably lost every other game he coached. But definitely, you know, he will win you a game against Manchester United. Now, was this his way of putting down his resume for the club? I don't think he did a good job, because he lost all the other 19 games in the league and the rest 18 games in the league. And for me personally, he was not a top manager. He just got into a position where it benefited him. He was the better of the worst of two managers in which he was Ten Hag and Postecoglou. And I still don't know how people compare both when one was on the trajectory of winning the trophy every year and still never came in the bottom half of the table, and the other one came in the bottom half of the table, claiming that he only win trophies and only come in top four and only fight for Champions League. So it's pretty different when we really look at it. But yeah, Manchester United and Tottenham usually go after each other, and it's going to be a very good game. We'll see a difference in both systems. What we'll see on the pitch, hopefully, we'll see both teams who have coaches that really want them to run and work hard foremost, and then after that we'll see what happens with the game. Now, Ruben Amorim was talking about the positivity around the club, and they asked him just to explain what he thought and if he thinks that the team is ready for the next step, and if he thinks that, you know, that the team can win. So this is what he had to say. And this is what he had to say about their top four hopes. Because, in my opinion, United can come from top four. United can probably come top three, in my opinion. We have the quality of players. We have one game per week. It's not like we really have to think about so much recovery. And we have players that are like really, really tactically astute. It's a World Cup year. We have a lot of international players. They're fighting for a spot. There's one game a week. They're probably not going to get loaned. The environment can get toxic real quick, but it also can help them improve and want to play even more. And this will also show a lot about these players being in an environment where they have to be forced to maybe just sit back, take back, practice more instead of having much game time. Being a team player in another way instead of being the team player that they want to be. And that's also a big part of being a team player, is being something that you don't want to be for the team, but doing it effectively in a way in which you benefit the team. So because at the end of the day, it's not about one season. It's not about 2 seasons. It's about having a playing career at a big club. And maybe this season you might not play, but if you're in the long-term plans of the club, if you're in the plans of the club where the club thinks you can be a part of something great here, next season can be for you. We see players like Phil Foden and others who have stayed around top clubs, Curtis Jones, who get playing time now and again, but they still get a chance to be around the biggest of the biggest, the World Cup squads, because they are part of teams that are, one, successful, but two, fight their way into teams that bring success. So Ruben Amorim, of course, had nothing but humbling words, yet strong words about Manchester United. I would say the question was about title challenge in a way, but also about them coming in the top 4. So this is his response.
If we have these opportunities, let's make everything to win. Let's try to address every detail to try to win every game. I don't want to talk about the new goal. You said yourself that everything is so close. Is everything so close up and everything so close down? 3 weeks can change everything. It changed everything 3 weeks in. We had a completely different conversation 4 weeks ago. So let's focus on the next game, what we can do. I also agree that when you are one down, playing away, feeling in control of the game, knowing that you can be in second place near the top, we could start that second half in the different way. That I can agree, and the players felt that, and we talk about that during the week. So let's focus just winning Tottenham. Can we win Tottenham? I think we can. Let's do everything.
And for me, that was it right there. It's look at the determination in his eyes. This guy looks like he is more focused than the players themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking at this man, you're like, bro, you look so determined. And the cry to the players is, I believe we can beat everyone. I believe we can beat anyone. Once we are focused, once we have the right mentality, once we go into the game with the right mindset and the willingness to run and work hard, there's going to be a lot of teams that cannot beat United. And United players need to believe this. Now, Tottenham, of course, the opposition, they are coming with a lot of big things in terms of they have the statistics behind them, with them playing in the Champions League. They're in a momentum. They are ahead of United in the table. All these things, and there's a lot of positivity around Tottenham because of Thomas Frank and them wanting another British, somewhat of a British manager, even if he's not English, to do well. And there's just a lot of narratives behind him that you can see the positivity. Now, don't get me wrong, Thomas Frank has earned the right to get a big club, has earned the right to have a team in order for him to see where he is as a manager. Test himself, no problem about that. But also, we have to be aware that a lot of these managers get away with a lot of positive press against them while they press back negatively against other managers. Now, Tottenham this season, record is 7-4-3. They have 17 points, 8 in the Champions League. They are 6th in the Premier League. But also, not only that, but goals conceded is 14 in the Premier League and 2 in the Champions League. So they conceded 16 goals already for the league. And in my opinion, that's a lot of goals. Let's not forget, we're in match week 11. So this team is a team that concedes a goal every weekend. Same like United, who was conceded, I think 16 or 17. You don't really hear them talking about much about that though. But for sure, for United, you hear them talking about it. But Tottenham have conceded a lot of goals. Now, this is the danger man right here, in my opinion, Mohamed Kudus. Mohamed Kudus is 1 goal this season. So it speaks a lot about them going forward as a team. But also, it speaks a lot about them as a club, that they were not able to bring in top forwards. They brought in Xavi Simons. They brought in Koulibaly, who was struggling to get a chance in the team consistently. We also seeing they brought in other players to try to make it seem like the squad is a lot better than what it is. Now, don't get me wrong, no. Tottenham have a good squad. I think players like Kulusevski and so in the midfield is a problem. And especially now, he's now more winger, but now playing in more of a central role, like a number 10, floating around. You still have a James Maddison that's injured. They have a lot of quality players. Basuma not getting a call in, injured. There's a lot of players around, high quality, that aren't playing. But this guy, for me, not only is their major outlet, he's their biggest threat. He takes the balls for them from positions and drives it forward. He also creates spaces for other players. He's willing to take on a man or two. Now, I don't know how this guy didn't end up at Man U. I think because of his goal contributions. He doesn't really score a lot or assist a lot. But just like Matthias Cunha, these guys are brilliant to watch on the ball. Can take the ball from their middle third or their defensive third and bring the team up the pitch. Those are things that you can't really coach, or those are things that you can't really put into a player. Those players are just that way, and that's just who that player is. So I think he is going to be the biggest threat. Not only that, the way they play, they try to get him more in transition, him more out ahead of it. And this is why I think he is one of their biggest threats. Now, this is my predictive lineups for the match. I have, first of all, this is Tottenham's lineup. So I have Vicario, Danzo. Because Romero's just coming back from injury, I don't think he'll force it. They have a lot of games, and especially Christmas coming in, they don't really want to force a player. Thomas Frank have a lot of Premier League experience, so I don't think he'll force it. You have Poro, you have Spence, you have Paulinho Sarr, Kudos, Bentancur, I have Johnson and Richardson. Now, this front three I pick because I think he's going to use 3 players that have done really good against United. Richardson scored a hat-trick against United. You have Johnson, who has scored many goals in his short Premier League against United. So there's a lot of things within these 3 players I think will cause United problems because of how they play. But also, Tottenham is going to play a lot more direct than we think. Now, Spence and Porro, of course, is just been that way. And I think he'll go for this midfield because this is a midfield that, if they work well together, can actually find a way to overpower United's midfield. So I feel within that, Ruben Amorim has to find a way to nullify and find the gaps for Casemiro and Bruno to be a lot more dynamic in this game, to find spaces in between how this midfield works and find a way to play around this midfield. Because if you go and play this midfield with, say, a man-to-man sort of vibe, they're going to get overrun United's midfield for sure. Now, into the hot part of it, the United starting team. Now, straight away, Lamont start. There's no joke about that. Shaw holds his spot. I think the big talking points for me is Maz and Dalot. And maybe the Cunha Sesko situation. The midfield for sure stays. Casemiro having goals. Bruno is the captain, will always play. The midfield is looking a lot more balanced in my opinion. But Noose for Euro is the big call for me instead of Maguire in for De Ligt, because I think there's just a few things about Noose in this game that's going to be very important. The ability to play on the one-on-one, but the ability to use the space and drive into the space that Tottenham leaves in order for him to be able to penetrate the ball. Same with Luke Shaw, which is why I think both of them are key to the game today. Tottenham likes to leave a lot of space in behind. Tottenham doesn't really press usually as much with their wingers. They try to force teams to go down the middle of the pitch where they can crowd you out. Hence is why if I think they do that because of the right centre-back and the left centre-back being right backs and left backs naturally, they can exploit that space and drive into those spaces. Now, same thing, both players can play as inverted wing backs or inverted wingers with right back or left back, full backs. So which means that I think also when it comes to press the midfield, when it comes to them, somebody stepping in a bit more, it's going to be one of those instead of the Ligt, because you have a player, the three players in a Kudos, in a Richardson, in a Benjamin Johnson, or even Osberg, who plays there for them, or Koulibaly. They all want to play in transition and running behind. So you want to be able to keep your central defender always on the cover, but the other two defenders, you want them to be tight and really tight to the players. So this is why I think both these guys are key to the game today. Nothing against Euro, but I don't think the game is going to call for a lot of hype. I think it's going to call for a lot of football technicality, quick, who's first to the first, quick to the first couple steps to the ball. Those are the very important things today. Hence is why Noose, because of how good he's in interceptions and stuff, I picked him. Now, Dalot gets the call up again for me just because of what Dalot brings to the team in terms of he's always in the right places, he's just not effective enough. Defensively, he does get into the right spots, just not good with his back towards his own goal. In terms of he struggles when he has to play on the back post. And then also you have going forward, he gets in good positions, but he still struggles a bit more. So these are just the small things with Dalot I think we're going to have a problem with today. Poor on the ball, been poor defensively, but he gets in the right position. So if he can be effective, he can really help the team get a goal, score a goal, do something to help us get ahead today. Now Ahmad, really good, has been good, looking good, getting better defensively, and also learning how to play a bit more, not only as just a right wing back, but he's coming inside, he's inverting, he's switching to the other side, he's creating plays, he's staying wide, he's creating the width for the team. He's doing a lot of what a winger needs to do, a lot of what a central midfielder needs to do, and a lot of what a right wing back needs to do. And I like to see his evolution and how he's evolving and coming about. But this front three has to call fire. I need to see where this front three link up in a goal that unlocks Tottenham. This is what I'm looking for with the Sesko, with the Mbuemo, with the Cunha. I'm looking for these three players to help unite this Tottenham team. Be involved in some way in unlocking the team. And let's start to see combination. Let's start to see Sesko and other players start to get the goals he needs. Cunha, get the goals you need, Go fill your boots today. Score 2-3 goals. Let's hit Tottenham for 4-5. We used to do this on a regular. And I don't think we don't have the players not to do this. United have one of the best squads in the league. People might not want to say this, but United have a really good squad. United is a midfielder or two away from having a really good squad. And they have different type of players to play in each different position. And they bring different type of style and they have different attributes. When you have a Mount where Cunha plays different. When you have a Zerski or Cunha where Sesko plays different. When you have a Ahmad, when you have a Bruno, when you have a Kobe, when you have even a Shea Lacey in where Mbuemo plays. You have a difference again. You have a Joshua playing there. It's different. So there's a lot of players in the team, not only of quality, but bring a difference that will really help this team go forward. Now, of course, I know y'all want to get my predictions for the game. Of course, and I will have to give it to you. So, my prediction is United wins this game 2 or 3-1. I think we have enough. I think because we don't have the Champions League football. I just think that's a big thing. And we can focus on our opposition. Now, yes, Tottenham has a good amount of players. But I don't think Porro can handle Cunha. And I don't think Spence can handle Mbuemo. For pace, maybe. But intelligence, he can't. And we've seen a lot of times within the games that he's been playing, he's lost a little bit of concentration. And I feel if you do that against good players like Mbuemo and Cunha, they're going to haunt you. Same on the other side of the pitch. I don't think Kudos and others are clinical enough, but I think if you give them 17, 18 chances like what you gave against Forest, they're probably going to get a good result in this game as well. But yes, people, it's been your boy Yaya. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Keep hitting the bell for notifications so we can keep bringing you great content going forward. Have a good time. See you in the other one. Take care. Ciao.